Get ready, Padres fans. It's time for the EcoWater SoCal Padres Pregame Show on the Padres Radio Network.
Tatis hit third, 2 outs. Fernando takes off. He's going to steal home without a play.
Coming up, we'll have a recap of the previous Padres game, a preview of today's starting pitching matchup, and our keys to the game. Plus, we'll hear from manager Mike Schultz. From the Padres Radio Network, here's Sam Levitt.
San Diego Padres baseball coming up on 97.3 The Fan and the Padres Radio Network. Today, the San Diego Padres take on the Minnesota Twins in the second game of a 3-game series. Our starting pitching matchup for today. For the Twins, right-hander Bailey Ober, and for the Padres, left-hander Martin Perez. Hi again, everyone. Matt Scraby with you here in the Odyssey Studios at 97.3 The Fan. Sam Levitt is going to be doing play-by-play with Mr. Bob Scanlon tonight, so I am going to be taking you through the pregame show. Coming up in the next 50 minutes, you're going to hear from Padres manager Mike Schultz. You're going to hear a little bit from Ha-Sung Kim about his injury, and we are going to check in, as I said, with Bob Scanlon from the booth here shortly. I am really looking forward to seeing or hearing what Bob has to say about some of the pitching matchups for today and Martin Perez and his use of pitches, so we'll ask him that shortly. Now, let's set the table. Brought to you by Fraser Farms Market. Set your table with the highest quality of natural and organic products from Fraser Farms Market, a San Diego original since 1971 with 3 locations, La Mesa, Vista, and Oceanside. The Padres entered today 71-55. They hold the top wildcard spot in the National League. And with the Dodgers win last night, they are 3 games behind the Dodgers for first place in the National League West. The Twins are 70-55, 2 games behind the Guardians for first place in the AL Central. The Twins have lost 2 in a row and have gone 5-5 in their last 10 games. They are currently 2.5 games behind the Guardians, who are leading the AL Central. The Twins are also tied with the Royals for the second wildcard spot, 2.5 games behind the wildcard leading Orioles. Padres, on the other hand, have won 21 of their last 26 games, and they are 7-3 in their last 10 games. Now, last night was a fun one. We got to see a lot of action from the bats early. We also got to see Michael King work through some stuff, so let's go back and hear what happened.
How did the Padres fare in their last game? Let's take a look back with our Padres Rewind. Presented by Hamul Casino. With thrilling slots and tables and all the best rewards, Hamul Casino has all the fun you're looking for. Hamul Casino. Fun above all else.
Well, Michael King will go to work for the Padres, striking out 2 of the Twins' first 3 hitters, but he did walk the middle hitter, and the Twins would make him pay.
He runs, pitches, swung on, and line fair down the right field side and rolling into the corner. Larnach on his way to third. Digging it out of the corner is Peralta. Here comes Larnach. He'll score standing. It's an RBI double for Matt Wallner. And the Twins strike early here in the first inning. It's 1-0 Minnesota.
But the Padres answered in the bottom of the first after Arise was hit by a pitch. Profar singled to left, and Jake Cronenworth grounded out to second. But Arise would score to tie up the game. Then, with 2 outs and Jerks and Profar on, Xander Bogaerts stepped in.
2-2. Swinging a ground ball, base hit into left. Profar scores standing, RBI single, Xander Bogaerts. And the Padres jump in front 2-1 here in the first inning.
So they would leave that inning they would leave the first inning leading the game 2-1, and Michael King would go back out there, get into some trouble. After getting the first out, King gave up a single to Julien, and then Julien moved to third after a Vasquez single. King would walk the bases loaded with 1 out. Willie Castro grounded into a fielder's choice, and the Twins would score and tie up the game at 2. The score would stay tied at 2 until the bottom of the third, and Twins starter Zebby Matthews would get Arise to ground out. Profar would reach by air. Cronenworth walked. Bogaerts walked also, which walked the bases loaded, and Jackson Merrill would dig in with the possibility of another huge moment.
0-2 on the way. Swinging a high fly ball into left center. Martin going back on the warning track. It 1 hops the fence. 1 run is in. 2 runs are in. Here comes Bogaerts. He scores standing. It's a bases clearing double for Jackson Merrill. And the Padres jump in front. It's 5-2 in the third.
Jackson Merrill just continually coming through in those huge moments for the Padres, and the Padres would lead 5-2 after that bases clearing double for Jackson Merrill in the third. His 67th, 68th, and 69th RBIs for Merrill this season. Pitching would take over for both teams, and after the Twins would get a run in the top of the ninth, Robert Suarez would look to secure his 28th save of the season.
Pitch to Miranda. Swinging a ground ball to shortstop. Picked up by Wade. Throws to first in time, and the Padres win. Robert Suarez shuts the door. Padres take this series opener against Minnesota. The final score, Padres 5 and the Twins 3.
And a little, more of a stressful top of the ninth than we are accustomed to, but Suarez did get the job done. Final score, Padres win 5. They win 5-3 over the Twins. Michael King got the win to move him to 11-6 on the season. Zebby Matthews took his first career loss. He's now 1-1. And as I just said, Robert Suarez got his 28th save of the season. So that is what happened yesterday. Padres looking to take the second game of this 3-game series and get back on track with winning a series. I'm Matt Scraby. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan. And right now we are going to go heading out to Petco Park to talk about the game tonight.
Let's go inside the Padres broadcast booth for a deep dive on today's matchup from Bob Scanlon in our Padres game preview on the Padres Radio Network.
Well, it's very nice to talk to you once again, Mr. Scanlon, and I'm looking forward to having you on the pregame show today because I have some question about pitching, and with Martin Perez, he's almost been ace-like for the Padres since joining the team, but something we talked about in the show and I noticed was the difference in usage of his pitches between the Padres and Pirates. His sinker was actually the most used pitch with the Pirates. His curveball is the most used with the Padres, with his changeup coming in a close second with the Padres. So thank you for joining us, Bob. Why do you think there's such a drastic shift?
Because he was getting hit.
It's
pretty simple. He made the adjustment himself over in Pittsburgh. But you're right. We've definitely noticed it more in these 3 outings with the Padres, but he talked about it the other day and said actually he'd started those changes back when he was with the Pirates, and he just wasn't having success. And so he looked at it and said, okay, what am I doing? What do I need to do differently? And you nailed it. He stopped using the fastball quite as much, and he's been using the breaking ball a lot more, especially that curveball. And we saw it used very effectively in game number 2 here wearing a Padres uniform, but he's really changed his style of pitching, and he's using it differently as he's facing lineups multiple times as well. So that is something that he started with the Pirates. He's carried it over here to the Padres, but it's certainly playing out well for him.
It definitely is. So I want to talk about what the Padres are going to be facing tonight with Bailey Ober starting for the Twins. You're a tall guy, and Bailey Ober is also a tall guy. He's 6'9", and one of the taller guys the Padres are going to face all season long. So my question is pretty simple. How much of a difference does height make for a pitcher?
It can be a double-edged sword, right, Matt? So for me, and I know I can't speak for every tall pitcher, but generally it takes guys with more moving parts, right, and long limbs going all over the place to find your mechanics. But once you find them, you have that good leverage, and you especially have some extension that you should be able to use to your advantage, and that's certainly the case with Bailey Ober today. And we'll talk about that more in the broadcast, but you're right. It can be an effective weapon for you in terms of decreasing the distance between you and home plate. It can be an effective weapon for you in terms of your mound presence. Now, the arm angle is a whole different topic, and his arm angle is not actually as high as we saw yesterday with Matthews, but he and Matthews are very similar in terms of their approach. And you would think at 6'9" that Bailey Ober would be this overpowering guy. Oh, he's got to throw 100 miles an hour. That's not the case. He actually only tops out around 92, 93 usually, but he knows how to locate. So to his credit, despite having that big frame early in his career, even back in his college days, he was able to show that he could consistently duplicate his delivery and have good command in the strike zone. So a unique athlete in that respect.
Yeah, definitely a unique athlete. We're talking to Bob Scanlon here, previewing the game tonight between the Padres and the Twins on 97.3 The Fan. And I have to ask you about Ha-Seong Kim. Before the game, they announced they're going to place him on the 10-day IL, and Tyler Wade is going to be starting in his place tonight. How much of a loss is this for the Padres?
Well, look, anytime you lose your starting shortstop, it's going to be a loss, right? The good news for the Padres is they've got an incredible array of options to be able to fill in over there, including Tyler Wade. So it's a great opportunity for Tyler to get back into the starting lineup on a consistent basis, not dissimilar to what we saw him doing at the beginning of the year when Manny was in the DH spot. And so we got a chance to see a lot of Tyler Wade early on, and he handled himself fantastic over at third base. Look, Tyler Wade is one of those guys that you can put anywhere on the field, and he's going to do a great job. And the Padres are super lucky to have him, and he's been able to do that as a guy coming off the bench. Now he gets an opportunity to do it on a more consistent basis over at shortstop. But again, the Padres have other options over there, right? They could put Jake Cronenworth over there. They could put Xander Bogaerts over there. So Mike Schilt has plenty of options, and Matthew Batten getting called up can play over there. So it's not going to be all on the shoulders of Tyler Wade. It will be interesting to see what they do over the next 10 days, and hopefully Ha-Seong Kim is back in those 10 days. So I don't know that we're going to see a huge drop-off in terms of the defensive play at shortstop, but what we will obviously see is that's a little bit less depth on your bench, not having Tyler Wade to be able to call upon to do the pinch running when the game is on the line, to come up with, at the plate and be able to get the bunt down, to do all the things that he's been able to do off the bench. So I think you're going to miss that element of it. But on the other hand, he gets a chance to play on a daily basis, and thank goodness the Padres have the depth that they have that hopefully you're not going to miss Ha-Seong Kim, too dramatically much, but certainly excited to get him back, and hopefully it's in 10 days.
Last one for me, Bob. I'm running out of ways to talk about the incredible season that Jackson Merrill is having, and once again, he provided a clutch hit in a clutch situation last night. And the best part is he just wants to do what's best for the team. So you played, I'm sure, with many, many rookies. You've covered many, many rookies. Why is Jackson Merrill different to you?
Scrapes, you're not the only one that's running out of ways to describe this kid, right? But to your point, and I think you hit the nail on the head, it's not just his physical abilities, it's his makeup. It's who he is as a ball player and what's important to him. And what's been important to him ever since spring training is, what does this team need? What can I do to try to help this ball club win? You need me to go to left field? That's fine. Put me in left field. Let's figure out how to get it done. You need me in center field? Fine. Put me out there. We'll see what I've got to do and how much harder I've got to work to learn this position so that I can man it and keep the corner guys where they are and help this ball club out. When you talk to him about Rookie of the Year, going to the All-Star game, Rookie of the Month awards, National League Player of the Week awards, he doesn't really want to talk about any of that. He just says, I'm here to help the team win. That's the only thing that matters, bringing championship baseball to the San Diego Padres. And when you talk to him about it, it's not hollow. It's not as though, this is what my agent told me to say, or this is what the Padres want me to say, or this is what I got to say so that the veterans in the clubhouse don't get mad at me, right?
Yeah.
No, he sincerely believes this. And this has been I've been talking to him, when he was 18 years old in spring trainings, when he was, getting his first looks with the Padres, and just talking to this kid, it's like, wow, he's just wise beyond his age in terms of where his commitment is, where his focus is. And in talking to him about hitting as well, just look, he was committed to being a great hitter first, and the power would come. So you just look at the whole package. It's been consistent since day one, Matt, and it's carried over, and it's not been jaded at all by the success that he's had. If anything, it's made him more focused on, hey, what I'm doing is right. This is the correct process. This is the correct priorities in terms of team first, and that's the kind of thing that can affect an entire clubhouse.
It's been really exciting to watch him play this year, and it will be exciting going forward. Thank you so much, Bob, for joining us here on the pregame show. I'll send it back out to you and Sammy for the call tonight.
Sounds great. Thanks, Matt.
Thank you so much to Bob Scanlon for joining us here on the show. Great answers. I really wanted to ask the tall pitcher question, because when is the next time I'm going to get to talk to a former major league pitcher who is very tall like Bob Scanlon? So I got that in. It's time to take a break. On the other side, we are going to hear from manager Mike Schiltz in his pregame press conference. Who's hot, who's not, and a lot more throughout the show. We're also going to hear from Ha-Seong Kim at one point about his injury. So thanks to everybody for listening. I'm Matt Scraby. You're listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan. Matt Scraby here with you from the Odyssey Studios on 97.3 The Fan. Taking you up to first pitch between the Twins and the Padres in Game 2 of this 3-game series. And Padres took Game 1. Sam Levitt and Bob Scanlon on the call tonight on the radio side for 97.3 The Fan. We still have a lot to go. You're about to hear from manager Mike Shildt. We have Who's Hot and Who's Not, which is going to feature some... relief pitchers. But first, let's stop down for some station identification.
KWFN-FM and KWFN HD1 San Diego.
This is Hughes Iris from the San Diego Padres.
You're listening to Padres Baseball on the Padres Radio Network.
An Odyssey sports station.
All right, manager Mike Shildt was very busy today. He had a lot to update with the media, so we're going to talk about Wandy Peralta in this press conference, or this manager scrum. We're also going to hear about Ha-Sung Kim in this scrum. But first, Mike Shildt is going to start with an update on Wandy Peralta.
Let's pull up a seat in the manager's office and hear from Padres manager Mike Shildt. Presented by Sinley Food. Spice up your culinary life.
We just got through watching Wandy's live batting practice, and it's encouraging and big step. It's been a journey, and he's hadn't had any setbacks, and today was a big step forward. Him being able to face live competition. He's going to do a little PFP here in a second. He threw the bases, but looked good. Ball was coming out clean, and he comes out and recovers well from it. He'll take the next step, which will probably be some kind of game action.
You've got clearly a nice deep bullpen. Can never have the proverbial. Can never have too many good arms.
You can never have enough pitching. You never have enough pitching. So we're going to be excited and welcome Wandy back whenever he's ready to come back for us. So Kimmy, he's going to go on the IL. That's not the good news, clearly, but the good news is it was a decision, whether he would be able to come back 3 to 6 days. If it wasn't his throwing shoulder, it'd probably be a little more patient with him being able to be able to come back, but we didn't want to get into this, let's try to, get him back and then not be able to let it heal. So we just made the decision with him that, the 10 days made sense. Who's to say it won't go past 10 days, but we're optimistic it won't or too much further than that. But anyway, he's going on the 10-day IL, and, we're going to bring up Matt Batten.
What is the damage and what is the diagnosis?
It's just shoulder inflammation, and, he jammed it, and just a matter of getting that inflammation out. Thank you.
In that it could be, what is that? You don't have a day off, so it could be 7, 8, 9, 10, 12 games. What will you do at shortstop?
Well, we got Wade playing tonight, and we got Matt Batten joining the club, and we've got other options, and you'll see the lineup every day.
Mike, with Martin Perez, obviously 3 very strong outings to begin his Padres career. What's impressed you most about what he's done?
He's a veteran guy, knows how to pitch, puts it on display, multiple pitches, locates, controls counts, does a lot of things that requires you to be able to be successful at any level, but especially the big league level, is those multiple pitches where he wants to, works both sides of the plate, and controls counts, and he competes very well. And he's got a real clarity how he wants to get people out. So he's just he's a pro.
How important is having somebody with experience for that back end of the rotation? Current pennant race, don't want somebody who's been there, done that, it's been multiple scenarios.
Yeah, I mean, this guy's clearly done it. So you want experience at this time of year, but it's not a prerequisite for anything, because we have guys that, we talked about Jackson is playing well, that doesn't make situations bigger than they are, but guys that have done it and gone through the process and know how to go through navigating the lineups is important.
Will Musgrove and King, will they be on their normal turn, or is there possibilities of a slight?
We'll announce it. Yeah, we'll get you the rotation here shortly. Yeah, I wouldn't expect any dramatic changes, but I want to make sure I'm all buttoned up. We got Waldron going tomorrow.
Well, there you go. We got Waldron going tomorrow. Nothing about the rotation going forward, but that was Padres manager Mike Shildt with his pregame press scrum, and he did talk about a lot of things. Wandy Peralta working his way back, the decision to put Hassan Kim on the IL, and we'll see what happens with Hassan Kim, and we'll see how the Padres are going to handle it over the next 10 days because Hassan Kim, everyday shortstop, and it's a pretty no-brainer for Mike Schilt to pencil him in. So we'll see what they do as we go along here in the stretch run of the season. I'm Matt Scraby. You're listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan. Right now, I think it's time to talk about some of the incredible relief pitching the Padres have had. And who's hot, who's not.
Which player is locked in at the dish? Who needs to kick things up another notch? This is Who's Hot, Who's Not on the Padres Radio Network.
I thank Jeff Hamby for not just hitting any button. I was thinking, he already knows that I'm going to go to Who's Hot, Who's Not, but no. All right. Let's start with Jason Adam in the hot category. In his last 7 games, he's 2-0. He has a 0 ERA, only 4 hits given up, 1 walk, 12 strikeouts in 7 innings pitched. Opponents hitting just 160 against him and has a whip of .71. I would say he's been the most shutout from that trade. Well, Brian Hoeing's been pretty good too, but Jason Adam has been incredible for the Padres ever since he got into town. He has not looked like he has missed a beat at all. Now, on the other side, Tanner Scott, in his last 8 games, he is 1-0 with a 1.17 ERA. He struck out 8 while walking 3. He's given up only 1 earned run in the last 8 games, and he has notched he's notched 1 save in that time in 7 2/3 innings. Now, we saw Tanner Scott struggle a little bit when he got to the team, but it seems like he has figured things out, and it seems like things are going in the right direction for him. So the Padres have a complete 7, 8, 9 setup for the end of games. So you got Jason Adam, you got Tanner Scott, and you got Robert Suarez, who notched his 28th save of the season last night. Let's continue to talk about who's hot, and David Peralta. He's hitting .349. That's nothing new. Jackson Merrill's hitting .348. That's nothing new. So things are heating up for the bats and heating up for relief pitching. Now, on the other side, the not category, my least favorite category of the day, we're going to be talking about, Jake Cronenworth. He, in his last 13 games, he's hitting .214. His OPS is .663. He does have a home run and 10 RBIs. He's walked 6 times, but he struck out 6 times as well. He's 9 for 42 over that time in the last 13 games. We also have Jurickson Profar, who we talked about yesterday, but he did get a hit last night. Over the last 13 games, he's hitting .208, OPS of .648. He's struck out 5 times. He's walked 3 times. He's only had 2 RBIs over that time with 4 doubles. He's 10 for his last 48. 10 for his last 48. He scored 10 runs. So Jurickson Profar in a little bit of a slump. He is trying to work himself out of that slump. The Padres are going to need him with him being so far up in the lineup and what he has done for the Padres at that spot in the lineup all season long. So that is who's hot, who is not. All right, looking at my timing, I think I got some time. So, it's a good time for us to check out and see what's going on. Let me start that over. It's a good time to check on what's going around. Man, I messed it up again. 3rd time's a charm. Let's go and see what's happening around Major League Baseball. Boom.
What's the latest information you need to know in the world of Major League Baseball? Sam Levitt takes you around the horn on the Padres Radio Network.
And just keep it moving. All right, so we're going to go to the Bronx, and we're going to talk about the Yankees here real quick. Juan Soto and Aaron Judge hit back-to-back home runs for the 5th time, one shy of the club record. Soto lifted a drive in the short right field porch at Yankee Stadium for his 35th home run of the season, tying his career high. 5 pitches later, Aaron Judge belted his major league leading 45th home run, a drive to right center field. It gave the Yankees a 2-0 lead. Judge's home run was his 17th in the first inning this year, breaking Babe Ruth's record from 1927. Let me say that one more time. Judge's home run was his 17th in the first inning this year, which broke Babe Ruth's record from 1927. Aaron Judge is doing historic things right now. And when you're breaking Babe Ruth records, you are doing ultra historic things. It marked the 9th time, though, that the Yankees have hit consecutive homers this season, and the first since August 14th at Chicago when Judge and Austin Wells hit back-to-back homers in the 8th inning. According to the Yes Network, it was the 5th time that Soto and Judge have hit consecutive homers this season, which ties for second in franchise history among teammates. Only Johnny Damon and Mark Teixeira did it more frequently, 6 times, achieving that in 2009. Others who have hit back-to-back home runs 5 times, other Yankee tandems, Ruth and Lou Gehrig in 1927, Lou Gehrig and Joe DiMaggio in 1936, and Gary Sheffield and Alex Rodriguez in 2005. So historic things happening in the Bronx. The Orioles, they lose another starter as Zach Eflin was placed on the 15-day injured list, retroactive to Saturday with right shoulder inflammation. He is hopeful that it's going to be a short-term issue. He's 30 years old, so it's not like age is an issue here. He has been absolutely great for Baltimore since he was acquired from the Rays on July 26th. Manager Brandon Hyde said, "We're optimistic that he's going to be able to not miss much time after the IL, if any, but it's a big loss. He's pitched great for us, and hopefully we'll have him in September." He was scheduled to start tomorrow's series finale against the Mets, but he experienced soreness in his pitching shoulder following the outing last Thursday against the Red Sox. The St. Louis Cardinals have made some roster moves. They have Brandon Crawford was granted unconditional release from the team after signing earlier this year. Outfielder Jordan Walker was optioned to AAA. Lucan Baker was recalled, and Matt Carpenter reinstated from the 10-day IL for the Cardinals. By granting Crawford his release, the Cardinals opened up the spot in the 40-man roster, which could be used later in the week for left-handed pitcher Steven Matz, who has pitched pretty well of late in rehab starts with AAA Memphis. Manager Oliver Marmol said Matz will make one more rehab start before potentially returning to the team as a starter or a reliever. So those are some of the biggest stories from around baseball today. I especially like the stories where you're breaking records that Babe Ruth set, because that's pretty amazing when you do stuff like that. I'm Matt Scravy. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan, leading you up to first pitch between the Padres and the Twins tonight. Sammy Lev is going to have the call with Bob Scanlon. When we get back on the pregame show, we are going to talk about some of the injuries the Padres have. We're going to check on the scores from around baseball, and we will have our keys to the game. So stick with me. We'll be back shortly here on 97.3 The Fan.
It is
Starting for the Padres tonight, we have Martin Perez. Starting for the Twins tonight, we have Bailey Ober. That game is supposed to start at 6:40 p.m. I'm going to be sending you out to Petco Park around 6:30 to get Sammy Lev and Bob Scanlon to kick off the game for the Padres tonight. They are looking to win their second in a row against the Twins. They are also looking to win their first series after losing the series streak that they had going to the Rockies over the weekend. So there's a couple things on the line, maybe in my mind. Probably not for the guys on the field, but still, those are some of the things that they are going to encounter. All right. We heard Mike Schilt talk about some injuries. We heard about Wandy Peralta. I'll get to him. I'll repeat that in just a second, but I think we actually have an open. So let's go and introduce the segment first before I get into it.
Who's in, who's out? This is the Bada Fulkerson Injury Report, presented by San Diego's Bulldog Injury Attorneys, who hope you're never in an accident. But if you are, make Bada Fulkerson the first call you make. Hit them up 24/7 at badafulkerson.com.
And as we know, Hassan Kim was put on the 10-day IL. Matthew Batten is going to be recalled in his place so he can play some infield. But Hassan Kim was actually talking to the media, and in this clip, you're going to hear both the Korean part and you're also going to hear the English part because I think it's cool to play both. So here is Hassan Kim in his own words talking about his injury.
첫날보다는 좀 많이 좋아졌고, 그리고 계속 좀 회복하는 중이에요.
It's much better than how it was on the first day, and just taking my time to recover right now.
How do you feel about the decision to go on the injured list?
부상자 명단에 등록되는 거에 대해서는 어떻게 생각하시는지?
사실 반가운 일은 아닌데, 충분히 트레이너 파트랑 이제 감독, 사장 이렇게 대화를 했고, 어차피 일단 충분한 대화를 해서 IL로 가기로 결정했다고.
Yeah, it's obviously not great news, but I've had discussion with the training staff, the manager, and the front office, and that's what we came to a conclusion to.
It sounds like Mike said that maybe you could have been back in 7 or 8 days before the 10 days of the IL, but how much do you understand kind of the bigger picture that it's important to heal given what could lie ahead down the stretch?
이제 감독님 말씀으로는 10일을 안 채우고 7, 8일 만에도 괜찮아질 수도 있다고 얘기했는데 이제 앞으로 경기들도 많고 가을 야구도 할 수 있는 상황에서 이 하루하루 더 회복하는 게 얼마나 더 중요하다고 생각하시는지.
사실 저의 목표는 5일 안에 괜찮아져서 복귀하는 게 사실은 목표였고 그렇게 될 수 있을 거라고 생각은 했는데 대화하면서 어쨌든 저희는 포스트 시즌에 올라갈 거고 월드 시리즈까지 가야 되기 때문에 그때까지 더 좋은 컨디션으로 뛰려면은 10일 IL을 가야 될 것 같다고 좀 이런 대화를 해서 그렇게 10일 IL을 가게 된 것 같아요.
Yeah, to be honest, initially I thought that I would be able to come back within 5 days, but after talking with the training staff, the manager, and the front office, I was told that maybe the 10-day would be the better decision, considering the fact that we're in the postseason, the wild card race, and we, as a team, have a goal of reaching the World Series. So, in order to come back to my fullest 100%, I think this 10-day IL makes sense to me.
All right, that was Hassan Kim talking to the media about his 10-day IL. Seems like he, is accepting of it, but really wants to get back. Again, Matthew Batten being recalled to replace him in the infield. And one more note, Wandy Peralta is making his way back to the team. Mike Schilt said that he has been doing some workouts. Next step for Wandy Peralta would be game action. I'm Matt Scravy. This is the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show here on 97.3 The Fan. The Padres and the Twins are going to get started here at 6:40 p.m. But some other games around baseball have already started, and we know the scores.
Let's take a trip around the Bigs and tell you about the scores you need to know in our out-of-town scoreboard. Presented by Jensen Meat, where great taste meets integrity.
Let's start in Toronto with the Blue Jays and the Reds. It's going into the bottom of the 8th inning. The Blue Jays are leading the Reds 10-3 here, so not close there. Top of the 8th inning in New York, in Queens, the Orioles are beating the Mets 7-1. The Mets have only been 2 hit. Now the Mets are coming to town here in San Diego starting Thursday through Sunday, so this is good for the Padres that the Mets are losing right now. Hopefully the Padres can put them out when they come to town, have them lose a bunch more games. Bottom of the 7th, the Yankees and the Guardians are tied 3-3. Bottom of the 7th, the Braves and the Phillies. The Braves are up 2-1 after losing Austin Riley. Bottom of the 6th, the Brewers are leading the Cardinals 2-0. The Cardinals currently only have 1 hit in the bottom of the 6th inning. Frankie Montas pitching for Milwaukee. The Pirates and the Rangers are in the top of the 6th inning in Texas. The Pirates are leading 3-0 there. Rangers also only have 1 hit. The top of the 5th, with the Tigers and the Cubs at Wrigley Field, the Tigers are leading 1-0 in that one. Top of the 5th, also in Kansas City, the Angels and the Royals are tied at 2 apiece. Top of the 4th, in Houston, I almost said Angels. The Astros and the Red Sox are tied at 4, and here are a couple more games from earlier today. The Diamondbacks National League West note for us. Diamondbacks beat the Marlins 3-1. The Rockies beat the Nationals 3-1. The Mariners are going to be playing the Dodgers tonight at 7:10 p.m. The White Sox and the Giants are going to be playing up in San Francisco tonight. Robbie Ray on the mound for the Giants starting at 6:45, and the Rays are in Oakland to take on the A's. The Rays taking on the A's in Oakland, everybody. I just thought that was fun because it rhymed. All right. Woo, I'm running out of time. So let's get to the keys of the game.
How will the Padres unlock a victory in today's game? These are the keys to the game. Presented by Honor Buick GMC Hummer in National City.
All right, the first key to the game tonight is Martin Perez doing what he has been doing in the last 3 starts by the Padres. I was going to go into a lot more, but we're going to talk about that in the pitching preview in the next segment. The second key to the game, good defense. They have played pretty good defense for the most part all year, but with Kim out, it's going to look a little different in the infield. Let's see how they play some defense in the infield, see if everything looks and feels the same. And the third would be get to Bailey Ober early. He has been pretty good this year, and just like yesterday, runs need to come early in this game. Give Martin Perez a little bit of a cushion to pitch with. The Padres did. They scored all of their runs yesterday in the first 3 innings. So they started the game hot, and they did not look back. All right, that is it for Keys to the Game. I'm going to head to break. When we get back, we have some what to watch for. We also have a pitching preview. So stick with us here on the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan. Sam Levitt has stepped up his rejoin bed game. I'm Matt Scraby here for the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan. We are almost done, and we'll send you out to Bob Scanlon and Sam Levitt here shortly, but we have a couple more things to get through, so I've been watching for at least one thing tonight, and I'm about to tell you.
What's the one thing Sam Levitt will be keeping his eye on in today's game? This is What to Watch For. Presented by Genesis Home Improvements, San Diego's trusted painting, roofing, and window company. Save 15% today on a new beginning for your home. Visit GenesisHomeImprovementsSD.com.
The thing I'm watching for tonight is look how the Padres use the bullpen in this stretch of 18 games in 18 days. So far, they have been able to spread out use of guys like Jason Adam and Tanner Scott and Suarez as of late. They've also been able to use Matsui and Brian Hoeing. Also, Adrian Morejon has been used as well. There are Jeremiah Estrada. It's going to be a little bit hectic here with the 18 games in 18 days, and they also have like 28 games in 29 days here. So the use of the bullpen is going to be huge. Hopefully, Martin Perez can go deep into the game to spare the bullpen a little bit tonight. So that's what I am going to be watching for. All right, let's get into our pitching preview to introduce who's going to be on the mound tonight.
Let's take a look at who's on the bump today with our starting pitching preview. Presented by Chimney Sweeps, Inc., San Diego's trusted chimney and fireplace service company for 40 years. Call Chimney Sweeps, Inc. at 1-800-CHIMNEY or book an inspection online at chimneysweepsinc.com.
For the Padres, left-handed pitcher Martin Perez is 33 years old. He's going to make his fourth start for the Padres tonight. In 2024, it's kind of a tale of two teams. We'll get to that in a second. But overall in 2024, he's 3-5 with a 4.62 ERA and 101 1/3 innings, a whip of 1.49, and 84 strikeouts in 19 games with the Pirates. And let's see, tale of two teams. He started 2-5 with the Pirates. He had a 5.20 ERA, 83 innings, and 63 Ks. Sorry, it's not 84 strikeouts with the Pirates. It's 84 strikeouts overall. With the Pirates, he struck out 63 batters. But here's the big thing. He had a batting average against, so opponents were hitting .312 against him. Now, in the 3 games since he was traded to the Padres, he has cut his walk rate more than in half and almost doubled his strikeout rate. So with the Padres, he's 1-0 with a 1.96 ERA in 18 1/3 innings. Opponents are batting .164 against him. He has a .76 whip, and he has 21 strikeouts as a Padre. He throws the sinker 35% of the time, the cutter 24%, changeup 22% of the time, curveball 13%, and four-seam fastball 6% of the time. And for a little fun, he's thrown exactly one slider this year, and it was a single. But from April to July, this is a little bit misleading because from April to July, he's used his sinker the most. Since the beginning of August, he has used his curveball most, then changeup second, then sinker third. And as you heard Bob Scanlon say earlier, he changed it up because he was getting hit, so he needed to come up with a different approach. So that is who's starting for the Padres tonight, Martin Perez. Right-handed pitcher Bailey Ober starting for the Twins tonight. 29-year-old in his 4th Major League season. He is 6'9" tall. He's 12-5 on the season in 23 starts, 3.49 ERA, 140 Ks so far this season, 34 walks. Opponents are hitting .205 against him, which is the lowest so far of his career in 134 innings pitched. His arsenal is a four-seam fastball, 40%, changeup 26%, cutter 22%, slider 12%, curveball less than 1%, and only thrown it 18 times this year, his curveball, and 15 of those to left-handed batters. So there is the pitching preview. I can't believe I got it done before the music started, and that it means it's time to send it out to Petco Park with Sammy Lev and Bob Scanlon. You've been listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on the Padres Radio Network. EcoWater SoCal, your water should be perfect. Find them online at EcoWaterSoCal.com. Sam Levitt will have the post game for you. He'll also have the game for you. I'm Matt Scraby. Thank you for listening to the EcoWater SoCal Padres pregame show on 97.3 The Fan.